Hello everybody, this is going to be a tutorial video for setting up a website using the Weebly platform for our economics class, and I'm going to use one of the students from this year as the sample, as the guide as we begin this process together. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is create a Google Doc if you have not already done so, and outline the most important information from your background research paper and from your research and analysis paper. So you want to have information on your homepage. You want to have an About Me section. You want to be very clear with what it is that you're trying to do in terms of your proposal. I included 2 comments on the student's document to help them to kind of think a little bit more deeply about how this paper that they're working on is a public policy proposal. Information related to resources, and you might want to hyperlink things as well. Whenever you want to hyperlink, you just highlight what you want in a Google Doc. You can right click and click link, and then you can copy paste whatever information you want to do so. So for example, if I click on 12-ounce Coca-Cola can about added sugars, it will open up the page from Coca-Cola in terms of added sugars. Okay. So going back to this information again, you want to be very clear with what it is that you are doing. And just notice here, like with this student who was preparing to give a presentation at the PTA before the city schools closed, any reference to our school's name or your name or even my name should be taken off of that material. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is open up the document from the student-facing version. I use the student's login so that you can see what it would look like on your end. Now, the first thing that they're going to ask you to do is to set up a domain. So I'm going to open up this image that I took of a screenshot on a different student. It will be blank. All you'll see, it'll say www.weebly.com. You need to type in the name of the website you want. So you can call it whatever you want. You'll click search and it'll tell you if it's available or not. And you'll click on the subdomain, you'll click choose, and then you should be good to go. Okay, so there are a lot of different things that you can do once you go into the editing options. And I'm going to go over some of the basics, and then I will show you what all of these different tabs are about. So I'm going to click first on the student's homepage. And the students already started doing quite a bit of work on this project. And you can see the title of their website, A Better Diet, Less Sugar. The student is looking at a public policy proposal related to nutrition and health, and specifically thinking about ways to cut sugar consumption out of the diets of young children, with a targeted audience being parents. Okay, so among other things that we can do, let's first take a look at the individual elements. So you can always click and drag to add more information to your page if I want to know the title, for example. I can add additional text if I want to do so. I just click and I drag it onto the page if I want to do so. If I want to put in an image, you can click image, drag that over, and then once you do that and release, it'll set up a thing for an image, and then you can upload an image from your computer, which I'll show you how to do in a little bit. Whenever you don't want it, you just hover over where it says delete, click delete, and it'll delete what it is that you've put in there. Okay, so there are other options as well. You can't do HD videos because the free version does not allow it, but you can include YouTube videos, which can be useful as well when you go through this process. You can put in dividers, and you can also, I'll show you when we get to the apps, you can put in a set of apps that are for free. I put in for this website an FAQ section in case visitors have additional questions. So under pages, these are all the pages the student has set up so far: home, about me, resources, support us, and a contact. So if I click under the theme, you can either go with a light theme or a dark theme. It just changes what the presentation to you looks like and what the presentation to your audience is going to look like. And I'm going to leave it alone for now. You can change the fonts on any of the pages. You could change subheadlines. You could change the size of the fonts, the colors, so on and so forth. Under settings, so there's some general things to keep in mind. You want to have an address for your website. That's the subdomain. You want to make sure you're very clear with the site title. So I'm going to write here the same title that we see under the URL. Site category, you can make it a personal site. The student left it on the business. That's okay. And there are many other options. So let's go under build. Now let's take a look, see what the student included so far. So they could have a header, they could put a subheading if they so choose to do so. They have homepage. Let's say I want to change the font, I would just highlight it. If I want to bold it, if I want to change the color, I can change the color. Let's say I wanted to go with the color purple. I can do that and it'll change the color. If I want to change, say, the font size, I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. This would remove formatting. This would allow you to work with the alignment, right? And you can align it any way that you so choose, any way that is of interest to you as the creator. You can also create links and hyperlink information to different websites. As you can see, there is a link to YouTube as well, which I'll show you in a little bit. And again, this is in draft form, so I know the student will make changes before we get to the final version. So the first thing I want to call out is, see how the student cited this picture from Google? This is something that you don't want to do. I'm glad that the student did do this. So when you go to the actual link, it'll bring you to this page. And this page is where the actual Google image is from. And I'm just going to click on this. It'll bring me to the actual website. And the actual website where the picture came from is from a website called The Conversation, Academic Rigor, Journalistic Flair. And the title of this was Sugar Isn't Just Empty Fattening Calories, It Makes Us Sick. So what I would do is first look to see if there are any attributed authors. There is one. It's a professor of pediatrics at the University of California, Robert Lustig. So I would go back to the Weebly and I would write who it actually is. So it was, let me go back again just to confirm, Robert Lustig. And the title of this article was Sugar Isn't Just Empty. Fattening calories is making us sick. And the website, the source was The Conversation. I would make the font a bit smaller. I don't think it needs to be this big. I think that's about as small as it's going to let me go. Let's go a little smaller. Okay. And make it as big as small as you need it to be. Likewise, let's exit out of these two now. I don't think I need them anymore. You would do the same thing for this one. So you can click on where this is coming from, go into a new tab. You can paste that information directly into your tab itself. It looks like it's from the same general website. Let's see if it's the same article. It is not. So with this one, this is from an article called What the 19th Century Fad for Anti-Slavery Sugar Can Teach Us About Ethical Christmas Gifts. Okay. So it shows you again who the writer is and where that information actually comes from. Okay. So going back into this page, in the center, the student chose to discuss the major findings from their background research, and they explained some information related to their topic, some statistics related to obesity in the city of New York, along with the individuals in New York who are overweight, major findings. So this is something that I added in red. I wrote to include the statistic from the field research. I think that would be very useful. I went into the students' research and analysis paper, and I have access to all of their data, so that becomes very useful. Okay, below, these are two charts from their research analysis paper that I ended up putting into the website as far as the trial run is concerned. So the way you would do it, go into the paper. You're going to see the document that you want. Click on the picture, press Control-C. That copies it. If you have a Google slide open or if you have PowerPoint, you can open up a PowerPoint and Control-V, or if you're on a Mac, an Apple MacBook, it would be Command-V. That will paste it in. You can make it a little bit bigger. Right-click, and you click Save as a Picture. And you just give the name for a picture. So this one was Interest in a Healthy Recipe. You can leave it as a PNG file, portable network graphics. I prefer JPEG. It's easier to work with. And you can see the other two already up here. I'm just going to click Save. And then I'm going to go into the document that we were in before. And I'm going to go for an image. And I'm going to drag that over as well. And I'm going to let go. and the image is there. So all I have to do is click upload image. It'll ask you, do you want to do it from your computer, a URL, from your favorites, or search? Since I already put it onto my computer, I'm going to click open from my computer. It goes to my desktop, and the title of the document was interest in a healthy recipe. So I'm going to click on that, and it should upload the picture, which it looks like it did. All right, so that part is good. My recommendation to the student, though, I would change around the format and the layout. You can do that in many different ways. You can put in spacers to divide up information if you so choose to do so, and that's fine. You can put in literal dividers themselves, and you can divide up your page. It's going to really depend on what it is that you want to actually do. I'm going to click X on this because I don't know if this is something the student actually wants or not. So that will be up to the student to decide for themselves as to what it is they want to do. Okay, so under the About Me, I'm going to click on that next. And there's a brief discussion as to what it is. Since it is a draft, I would want the student to really build on this. And I don't have their information open up anymore, but this is where you'd want to really talk about that you're working on this as a public policy paper for a government class. I wrote to the student here, you don't need to say Google Images. If this is being taken from Google, you can edit the image. You can go to where the original source is as need be. The mission statement is really nicely well written. What the student has already done. So any outreach that you've done to experts, city officials, to school administration officials, so on and so forth, you would want to include that. If you're citing from your expert letters, you would include the citation for citing the expert letter. If you do not know how to do that, go to the HSTAT library page and you can find that information. I can demonstrate it for you real quick. hstat.org. I'm going to go to the library page. Okay, HStat library. Okay, a lot of really useful information on this page in general. But I'm going to go to APA citation. And it's going to take me to this page on how to do citations. A email would be considered an unpublished document. And you go interview letter / email. And then you just include the communicator, personal communication, data communication, which we can see here. Name of the communicator, the kind of communication, and when the communication happened. Okay, I move myself over to this side of the screen so you can see what the student has done and what they're trying to do. So the student explained in writing what it is they're doing. I included this image. It really follows the same format. You save it as a picture and then you upload it as an image. Okay, under resources. Okay, so some of this information was already there and some of it I included myself. So this information was already here that the student put together. Again, this is one of those examples where if you go to the actual image, you'll see that this chart on BMI comes from Business Insider. So the only thing you actually have to include is the actual site here. It's from Business Insider. And I would recommend the same thing for these other images. Now, let's say you wanted to put in a video. So I ended up putting in 3 YouTube videos to kind of complement the work that the students are already doing. You're going to go to Show All Elements, and you can put in what it is that you want. So if you have a code to another website, you could embed the quote, or you go straight to YouTube, and you click Release, and then it'll put in the second video for you. I'm not going to actually do it right now, but essentially you're going to click on that, you go to the URL, you would paste it, and then it would automatically go from there. Okay, I'm going to click X for now. I'm going to delete it. Likewise, let's say you want to put in a document. You can put in a file. You can put in a survey. If you had a digital copy of your survey and you wanted to put that in, you could do that. You could put in contact forms. You could put in quotes. You have a lot of different options in terms of the kinds of things that you can put into the document. Okay, so under the Support Us tab, as you can see, there's really not much anything here yet. I'm going to show you a finished website in a moment so you can see what that looks like. Now, at any point in the process, you click Publish. I've already done so. Once you click Publish, it just gives you the actual link so that anybody can actually see it, but you can still continue to edit it as much as you want. Once you click publish, it doesn't mean that you can no longer edit. So if I go like this, I can see what the current website looks like right now. And I'm going to exit out of these additional pages for now. And this is what the page looks like at the moment. And I'm sure there'll be quite a few differences in the final version once the student is completely done with their project. So when you go into the help tab for Weebly, if you're unsure, you're like, all right, how do I put in another page? So they break it down. The pages give you the tabs. They provide structure and organization for your website, and they give your content a place to live. You can use the pages tab to build up more information. And again, you can explain exactly what it is that you want to do as you go through your design. Okay. This is the example of the students from last year who are completely done with the project. This was just one of the 4 or 5 that I put up as samples this morning on March 25th. So this student project really spoke to healthy relationships with teenagers. Their title of their website was Educating Adolescents on Dating Violence. Just going to go over a couple of quick things. Note how they introduce the topic. They explain why their issue matters. They really make it clear why this is an important quality of life public policy issue. And any information that wasn't their own, they just include where they got it from. They chose to include videos on their websites to give some overview as to what their topic is about. I think that's a pretty smart idea. Again, they give definitions that are relevant. They give more information as to what it might look like, different formats. This is a clear infographic image that was placed into the document. Very clear explanations as to what their topic is about. Again, note how they cite their own work. You can, if you want to, you can pull information directly out of your research analysis paper and put it in here. It's a really good idea to actually do that. They wouldn't necessarily be referencing their appendices since they're not including the paper itself, but they're very clear about how many people they surveyed and essentially what people actually had to say. So I'm going to click their About Contact page. And again, they break it down. I probably wouldn't have gone with all cap locks, but they chose to do so, and I guess it works for them. It's fine. And they break it down. Again, it's very clear. We're New York City public high school students currently working on a quality of life innovation proposal through the WISE Foundation. We created this website in order to assist us more in reaching the goal of our proposal. And then they explain what it is that they're trying to do. They included a form for people to fill out if they chose to do so, so on and so forth. I'm going to go to their menu. I'm going to click their resources. And similar to the one that I showed you that was in draft form, you can see they put together a lot of stuff. So you have 2 websites here with a brief introduction as to what they're about. And let's see if I can go. If I click on it, it will take me to their website. So that's good. They hyperlinked it. And remember, the hyperlink, all you have to do is click in the link button on the page, and that makes it very clear. Okay. They included a PDF that gives information, information relevant to the laws, a infographic from a campaign poster. Okay, and let's see their Support Us page. Okay, so it looks like it's very clear that connects into their petition that they created, which I'll click on in a moment, along with some general instructions as to how individual website viewers could make a difference with this particular issue. I'm going to click on their petition on change.org. This is going to be something that I will show you in another lesson. And essentially, you can see the video they included, the amount of people that they were able to get support them in terms of what it is that they were trying to do, along with, again, a description. So again, I think it's really neat. They start off with a good statistic that gets into why their topic matters. They give an overview as to what it's about. This looks like it's taken from their background research paper. And yeah, so it's basically 2 paragraphs, and they're trying to get people to sign the petition to support their initiatives. Part of their implementation was to bring in lessons and programs into schools to essentially try to reduce the extent of the problem. So again, this goes into all the information that you'll need to know for websites. I think I covered all of the pages on the finalized version. And again, this is what the student's draft version looks like as edits are being made. So I'm going to conclude it here. I know this video is a little longer than most videos. Please do reach out to me if you have additional questions as you work on making your websites. All right, everybody, have a good day. Take care.